Still getting a little bit set up here, but I wanted to be here live at 6 p.m. So forgive my hand. I'm literally running in from my mother's birthday dinner. But I made it in time so we can talk tonight. Savvy Sundays in December kicks off tonight. So give me a few minutes to get set up. I'm going to go live from my own personal page as well. And then we are going to be set up, but I wanted to be here on time because I told you all 6 p.m. Hi, I see someone is there. Hey, it's Tara. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Because I want to make sure that I'm not giving all this good information and then you're like, but we couldn't hear you, Tara. So if you can hear me, feel free to drop a little note or a line or a comment saying, yes, I can hear you. Okay. Hi, Yoruba. What a beautiful name. So you can hear me. Great. Excellent. So I'm going to wait just a couple of minutes. I want to make sure we're set up here. Like I said, I just left my mom's birthday dinner, so I am running in a bit. Hi, Monica. Thank you for letting me know you can hear me. I am getting set up. My mother celebrated, or actually she celebrates her 76th birthday tomorrow. I know I don't look like my mother should be that old. I haven't known her that long, only like 20 years of that. But I'm super excited. Hi, thank you all for joining me. I'm just getting set up here. I was letting everyone else know my mom's birthday is tomorrow. And so tonight we celebrate it. And of course, as always, the restaurant was packed, a long wait, all that fun stuff. Hi, Terry. And so I literally made it in the door like 4 minutes ago so that we could go live. But don't worry, I was prepared. If I had to do this in the car, I would have done it in the car. So I am just trying to now go live from my other platform. And then we are going to get started. Hi, Rose. How are you? Rose, it's your birthday tomorrow as well? Hello, happy Sagittarius, lady. That's my mommy's birthday. So, Miss Rose, what are you doing special for your birthday? Anything? You can let me know. So we went out to dinner. Thank you, Terry. I'll let her know. So we went out to dinner. We pulled the whole family together, and it was a fun time. But as I was saying, I am rushing a little bit. But I see we have some people here. I am so grateful and thankful that you are here. Your granddaughter's taking you to breakfast. Well, I hope you get some pancakes, honey, with some extra syrup. Sugar-free, of course, because, you know, I've been letting the sugar go. But I did have carbs today. So anyway, thank you all for joining me this evening. For those of you who don't know me or who are new to the platform, I am Tera Stidham, the owner of She Dates Savvy, also known as the online dating guru. But at the same time, we are also branching out and starting to just talk about relationships and dating, because I realize that there's so much more to it than just the online dating component. And so I really want to spend some time with you all today doing what I'm calling Savvy Sundays in December. If you have a single girlfriend out there or even a guy friend, someone who needs to hear this, feel free to share it with them now. Share it on your page so that they can tune in as well. But Savvy Sundays in December, what always happens is in January, what do we want to do? Everybody wants to find new love, right? Everybody's like, oh my God, my new year, new me, I'm going to find me a new mate. But sometimes we're not ready. And so what I wanted to do was spend a few weeks in December talking to you ladies before you actually get out there, so that when you get out there, you can stay out there and you can be effective out there. And I'm so grateful to God because this was placed on my heart a few weeks ago. I'm like, I want to teach. I want to talk to the ladies about something. And on Friday, I got a call from a young lady and she said, I want to find out about your services. I'm like, okay, let's talk. So not even a few minutes in, hi, Frenchelle. What does she say? She says, you know, I think I'm ready to date again. You know, I have all these traumas, and that's a buzzword for me, right? When I hear trauma doesn't go with dating, not being ready to date. And so I spent a few minutes talking to her about why it's so important to deal with those traumas and heal from that stuff, because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself in a relationship and you've not yet done the work on you. And so we bring all those patterns, those traumas, those hurts, everything that we've gone through, we bring it into the relationship with us. And unfortunately, it doesn't always benefit us. So tonight, I just want to spend a few few minutes talking to you about what I call doing the hard work, right? The things that you got to do right here on the inside to get you ready to date. So the first thing is making sure that you're ready to date, right? So she called me and she's like, you know, I'm ready. She was not ready. I did not take her on as a client. And I want to be really, really careful and in particular when I say this to you ladies. There are some people out there who will tell you, especially like in the relationship arena, oh, I can help you. I can teach you and learn, show you how to date. If you know you are not ready and you've not healed and you still have baggage and trauma, run. That person may not have your best interest at heart, because Tera will tell you, ooh, you're not ready for me. And then Tera will tell you, hey, here's the name and number of a therapist. Here's the name of someone you should talk to first. Because once you go and heal that, then you're going to be better. You're a productive person that I can actually help and work with. So if you find yourself and you know you're not ready, hey, Star Power, if you know you're not ready and someone's trying to push you towards it, that may not be the person that you need in your life, okay? That's not the person. So the first thing we have to do is establish, are we ready to date? And only you can say that. No matter how much information I give you, no matter how much, tips and tools about online and offline, all of that, if you're not ready, you know that you are not ready, right? So only you can determine that. So with the ladies and men who are here tonight, how many of you would truly say, I'm ready to date? If you think you're ready to date, just say, I'm ready. Because I'm going to ask you a little bit later what makes you ready. So that's the first thing, truly determining if you're ready to date. And here's the thing, even though I work in the dating and relationship space and arena, I understand that we don't always, you're not always in a dating season. Sometimes we have to spend some time healing. Okay, so now let's dig into the healing. Biggest thing is, I want you to stop lying to yourself about why you're single, right? Okay? So as you're on the journey and you're healing, why are you really single? What are the things that we tell ourselves sometimes? Have you ever heard this one? I don't need a man. If you've heard yourself say that, let me know. I don't need a man. If you've heard yourself say those words, that's a lie. You need a man, but you need a good man. You need a man who's going to be your man. You don't need a man like the last 18 men that you dated, the ones who kind of drove you away and made you say, oh no, I don't need a man. You absolutely do need a man, but you need a good man. You need the right man for you, right? So I want us to stop with that lie, okay? We got to heal from that lie, because it is a lie. You absolutely do need a man, but you need the right man, right? If you believe you need a right man, let me know. Okay, the next thing, have you ever heard yourself say, all men are liars, dogs, and cheats? Now, y'all know that ain't the truth. You know that is not the truth. But what happens, we've been through situations where we've been hurt. We've gone through, the traumas, all of those bad things that have happened to us. And we walk away bitter, saying blanket statements like all men are liars, dogs, and cheats. They're not. You may have met liars. You may have met dogs and cheats, but they're not all that way, right? So if we're still walking around with that in our hearts and in our minds, you're not ready to date, because what happens is mentally we go into it and the first thing he does, see, I knew he was a liar. See, I knew he was going to be a dog or a cheat. And that's not really what's going on. Sometimes we're just still carrying around our baggage, our stuff and things, and we're putting it on the other person, right? What is the other lie that we tell ourselves? And for my ladies in the Christian space, this is going to kind of step on your toes, but we're going to work through it. You tell yourself the lie that I am waiting on my Boaz. If you're waiting on your Boaz, let me know about it. Go ahead and comment down below. You can like it, heart it, whatever it is. If you say I am single because I am waiting on my Boaz, let me know. And if you've heard someone else, if you've got a girlfriend who says I'm waiting on my Boaz, let's talk about it. And that's actually a whole lesson in and of itself. But ladies, I need you to understand the whole story in the book of Ruth. Like, go back and read that whole entire story, because again, we always think that finding Boaz is about waiting. If we truly knew what the story was, Ruth made herself known to him, right? Ruth had Naomi. Naomi said, okay, so cool. So he knows you're there. He's found favor on you. He's leaving little things for you out there when you're in the field. And then she went to him. Denise says, stop it. Exactly. So Denise knows the full story, saying that you're waiting on your Boaz, right? So she went to him on Naomi's behalf. Naomi told her, so here's what you need to do. You go and lay at his feet at the threshing floor. Lay at his feet, not with him. But she had to make herself known. So ladies, a lot of us walk around and we say, I'm waiting. But what are you doing while you're waiting? Are you just at the house waiting, chilling on the couch? Ma'am, that is not how you are going to find your Boaz. You have to make yourself visible. You have to make yourself known. You have to let someone know that you're approachable, that you're even single. That's why so many of us are online. It's because, you know what? Maybe we don't go out. Maybe we spend a lot of time at home, but you still want to engage. And the way you do that is letting someone know that you are open and available, okay? So I need you all to know that we got to let go of those 3 lies really quickly. I don't need a man. All men are liars, dogs, and cheats. And I am waiting on my Boaz. I hope you all are taking notes, right? So that's the first thing we got to do, right? We got to make sure that we are not lying to ourselves about why we're single, because when we're telling that lie, it perpetuates itself. It continues going, and you still never really deal with why you got there. So if the lie you're telling is all men are liars, dogs, and cheats, I need you to write down his name, who was the liar, dog, and cheat. And if it was 3 him, 3 him or his's, write all their names down. Those men were liars, dogs, and cheats, but not all men. I do not want you to walk around soured on men based on something that someone else has done to you. And yes, we are all the sum product of what we've been through, all those experiences. I don't know if you all know much about me outside of online dating, but prior to working with She Date Savvy, my career was a talk show and court show producer. Y'all know the stories, the ones where people lie and cheat and steal and damn near kill, all of those stories, right? So I'd heard everything under the sun. Every story under the sun, every way that a person could cheat on someone, Tera had heard about it, right? But it didn't sour me to men. I didn't let those experiences taint me and what I thought and felt and believed about dating, love, and relationships, right? So we got to let that stuff go. Who's ready to let some stuff go? If you are, give me I'm ready to let it go. And I know some of you said that you're almost there, meaning being ready to date. That is awesome, Rose. You know why it is? Because you're being honest about it. Now, I will tell you this. I don't want us to use that as an excuse, because sometimes we say, well, I'm going to just work on myself. Cool. That's what Tera is saying. Work on yourself. But if you're 16 years into working on yourself, girlfriend, are you just making excuses? So not you specifically, but I'm just saying I want to make sure that we don't get stuck on, kind of like, oh, I'm almost there. You know what I mean? It's like oh, bless you, Monica. Monica says, I'm ready to let it go. Monica, what are you going to do to let it go? Because as I talk about, getting stuck, it's kind of like the double dutch. I could never double dutch as a kid, even though I wanted to. And I was too afraid to jump in. I'm laughing now because as a grown woman right now, I want to learn how to double dutch. I think I'm not afraid now, but as a kid, I was so afraid to jump in, right? So I knew I wanted to. I knew it looked fun. I knew it was adventurous. I knew my friends had fun doing it. I wanted to do it, y'all. I could not jump in. I was afraid that the rope was going to hit me and just knock me upside my head and all those things, right? And sometimes that's how we are with our dating lives. But as Rose says, you got to jump in, right? So do the healing, but then jump in. Okay, the next thing I want us to talk about when we talk about healing our heart, right, is the baggage. You heard the song. I might try to sing a little bit of it for you. Bag a lady, you gon' hurt your back. Yeah, y'all know that song, right? Dragging all them bags like that. Erica wrote that song specifically for us as women and what we do when we're carrying around all that stuff, right? All those bags. What are some of the bags that we carry? I'm happy that you asked. Sometimes we carry around those childhood issues, right? Daddy issues, mommy issues, sibling issues. There are a lot of things that we carry that then when we become adults, what do? They affect us. What else? Sometimes we're still in love with our ex. What? Hello? Anybody out there who can honestly say, maybe if you're not currently in love with somebody, but that it took you a long time to get over someone, that's a bag that we carry, right? And I had a really good girlfriend who one time made a very great analogy for me when it came to an ex and just kind of his space in my life. And she said, you know, he got his junker just parked in your driveway and your Rolls Royce can't pull up. And I said, oh, you know, when you put it like that, it makes perfect sense. Because he did. He was still holding space in my life. And it was a junker car, right? The car that is in the driveway with the oil underneath it in the driveway. You're getting tickets from the city and the people like, girl, what's wrong? You got to get that car out your yard and everything. It's rusted. It's old. It's ugly. But it's holding up space, right? And nothing new can come in your driveway. You got a 2-car driveway. Nobody can come in that driveway because you got that old junker, that old beater in your front yard, right? And so sometimes when we're holding on to being in love with exes and still letting people kind of, you know, jump rope in and out of your life, right? Coming in and out, you're letting him in and out. He is holding up space from what could be something else. So that's some baggage we have to rid ourselves of, right? No more late night calls. No more what you doing, boo. Like, really? You're not even asking me out on a real date. It's a WYD. What you doing? Not you. That's what I want you ladies to answer back. Like, not you, sir. Seriously, like, we have to understand you cannot let someone hold that space because that's baggage. What else? The trust issues. This one is always really good. My girlfriend, the girlfriend's therapist, Nettie Jones, talks about this. And we always say, I can't trust men. You know, I can't trust them. I can't trust what they did. I've been hurt. I don't trust them. It's not them that you don't trust. You don't trust you, right? Why is that? Because I've made mistakes in love. I've absolutely given my heart, my time, my effort, my energy, everything to the wrong people. Did I learn from those mistakes and those relations? Absolutely. But at the same time, I have put myself in situations where, you know, my trust was on the line. My trust was on the line. And it wasn't ever about them. It was about me trusting me to make the right decisions. How many of you ladies right now can trust yourself to make the right decisions when it comes to love, dating, relationships? Let me know. It's really important, ladies, because as we talk about new relationships, if we've not yet done that work where we can trust our gut, right? What's going to happen? We let the wrong people in, right? We let the wrong people in. We shut the right people out. We're afraid because everything starts to look the same. Mel raises her hand, right? Mel, what concerns do you have about yourself when it comes to trust? Are you maybe afraid that you're going to make the same mistakes again? Do you think that maybe you're a little bit gullible and maybe too trusting when it comes to love? And by too trusting, that means that you may be one of those people who takes things absolutely at face value, right? So whatever they say is true, and you may not always look into it to find out if it is, right? That's valid. Those are valid trust issues, but it's got to work with you. Like, you've got to write these things down and say, okay, what are some of my bags that I'm carrying around? Again, going back, are you carrying around things from your childhood? Are you still in love with that ex? Are you having trust issues? Mel says too unforgiving. Mel, I will, first of all, thank you for being honest. When you say too unforgiving, think about it like this. It's a balled up fist, right? When we carry unforgiveness in our hearts, right? You got to free you. You have to free you. And it's so important because, as we know, most of the people, when we're upset with people, 9 times out of 10, first of all, they don't even care. They probably don't even know. And they're still not going to be affected if they did know, right? And so we're walking around like this. I'm so angry with him for what he did to me. Mel, I would write down what those things are in your heart that you still need to forgive. And I would absolutely make a list of it. I would say a prayer over it. And I would absolutely release it. Because you're the one in pain, especially if you're looking back at a few years of unforgiveness. Like when you say, you know what, this person did this to me and this person did that. Those are all valid and fair points, right? It's not fair. It doesn't feel good when someone does us wrong, but Mel is being held up, right? Because even though that junker's not in the driveway in a physical space, it's here. It's in your heart. You're walking around with it in your heart, and you're finding yourself in a situation where Mel's not forgiving anyone because Mel's not going to let you do what the other person did to me. And who's walking around with all of this angst? Mel. Star Power says, sometimes finding it hard to let my guard down. So that's an interesting one, right? Because I used to say, I will start at 100, right? New dating relationships, we start at 100, right? So if you end up with a 33, that's based on you and what you did. So I actually go into things a little bit different than most ladies do, because a lot of ladies are, you know, you got to prove yourself to me. And I understand that. Like, we want to make sure that he is who he says he is. We want to make sure that he's not trying to run game, that he is not trying to get over or take advantage of us. But at the same time, he didn't do to you what the other one did, right? And so a lot of times what happens is that guy is walking in, you got your guard up like this, right? And he's walking in with pure motives, but because of what the last 13 guys did, you like this, right? You just like, he can't come over here. And so now he's got to fight you to get that guard down, instead of you actually just going into it with an open heart and saying, okay, I'll give you 100 to start. Now, where you end up is on you. And I would tell guys that. I would absolutely tell guys that and say, listen, I give every man 100. Where you end up is absolutely on you. Why is that important? Because you're not carrying around all that extra. It's not on you. It's on him more so, to prove that he can stay in that 100 range, right? Even if he dips down to like a 89 or a 93, it's still a high enough score, and he's not just going in and failing. So I would really say for you to, yes, Denise says it, he needs a clean slate. He didn't do it. He absolutely did not do it. And the healing of the heart, that's why it's so important to really go through. And I want you all tonight, when you're done, I want you to take a list. To take and create a list of the things that you need to work on, right? So the first one we talked about is, are you ready to date? Okay. The second one is stopping the lies that we're telling ourselves about why we're actually single. Because maybe if we stop lying about, oh, men are liars, dogs, and cheats, and I don't need them, and I'm waiting on my Boaz, maybe we could get to the truth of, my heart was broken by someone I absolutely loved and trusted, and I need to get over it. That's a valid reason for being single, right? So yeah, he might fall in those other categories, but you're owning your stuff. You're talking about why you are single, because that we can heal from. That we can unpack and work on. And we're going to be doing 2 more Sundays of this. Next Sunday is actually talking about the relationship autopsy, where we're going to go into that. And I'm going to also talk to you about some of the stuff that I carried around with me. Because again, we're all the sum total of these things that we've carried, right? And so for me, I absolutely, positively I carried around, and this is actually one of the things that's on the baggage list. I was Miss Independent, right? And I know that sounds like shallow, like, oh, well, that's a good thing to be independent. It's not. It's not. Not when the right man comes along, right? And what happens sometimes, and I had it happen to a client, she met a wonderful man, guy who liked her a lot. She was so used to being independent that it got in the way of that relationship. Now, granted, everyone is not going to be worthy of your time, your energy, your trust, or for you to just say, I can let my guard down. That's where discernment comes in. That's where really knowing who you're dealing with comes in. But if you meet a guy, and remember, we've given him a clean slate, and if he's giving you no indication that he can't be trusted or believed, it's okay to let that man be a man and let that man lead, right? Because what happens is we've been so used to being independent and taking care of ourselves, and I can do it on my own. And God, please, I hope you don't say the line, I could do bad all by myself. Ladies, that's not cute. It is not cute to say I can do bad all by. Hopefully you are doing well by yourself, and a man is a compliment. But we have to move away from those things that we heard in the songs back in the day, right? I can do bad all by. Who wants to do bad, period? Right? So we have to let that stuff go, especially when it's getting in the way of relationships. So I had to let go of being Miss Independent, because for me, I was so big on needing to work and having my career and taking care of my child that for me, security was very important, right? And so when I did get with my husband, and it was very uncomfortable for me because I was so used to doing for myself, right? And I also wanted to prove that, hey, I can do this for myself. Even to this day, so funny, we're moving and we're packing up pots and doing things. And so we're throwing away things, more so him than me. And my pots, he's like, we got to get rid of it. I'm like, no, I had those pots before I met you. I had some things, right? And he's always looking at me like, what does that mean? Right? And most of the time we're just teasing. But for me, I just want to say I had some things. I was somebody, right? Because that's what that independence means for us. We've worked hard, we've established ourselves, and now this person is coming along and you're like, wait, but I'm somebody too. I was doing great by myself. I'm doing even better, more wonderful now that we're together. But it's not ever just about bringing them down and not letting them be the man and not letting them lead, because again, we're carrying around all those bags of independence, right? What about control issues? Ladies, some of us have control issues, right? That's a bag that you're carrying. You can't run anybody else. You can only run you, right? You gotta let that control go. What about abandonment issues? Ladies, this one is big because sometimes it starts from when we're little girls, where it's maybe daddy or mommy, right? And then sometimes it moves up through our relationship. So maybe that ex who left you with that child, right? And you feel abandoned. Again, doing the work to heal your heart will let you know not everyone's going to leave. Someone's going to want to stick around with me, right? But some of us are walking around with that in our hearts, not believing that we are lovable, that we are someone that a man would want to be with beyond just one night or beyond a baby, right? You absolutely are. You absolutely are. You are worthy of that, right? So I want us to really talk about taking the time to heal, okay? Taking the time to heal. Now, remember, I already told you it's cool to heal, take that time. Just don't get stuck in that place. Where is that place? That place is 20 years later. You may not believe me, but there are women out there who started out on their journey of healing 20 years ago. And still 20 years later, they've not yet done the work to get to a place where they can even get to a relationship, even open themselves up to a phone call from a man or a date with a man. So yes, I absolutely want us to do the healing, but I do not want us to get stuck in that process. So what do I want us to do tonight? I want us to talk about why we're single, right? I want you, when we're done tonight, I want you to write a list. Like, if you're single, why are you really single? And remember, we're not blaming it on anyone but us, meaning we're going to own our stuff. So I am single because I'm too busy. That's a valid reason, right? A lot of ladies are career driven. A lot of ladies have their children they're raising, all this stuff. So maybe you're just too busy, right? Right? And you see how I'm looking when I say that part, right? Because is that an excuse? It might be your reason, but it might also be an excuse, right? So we're going to talk about that. I want you to write that down. Then you're going to talk about the bags that you might still be carrying. Why is that important? Because they show up. What happens when you hop on the airplane? What meets you in the city that you are traveling to? Your bags. The same happens in relationships. You hop on and miraculously your bags show up. Anybody ever found those bags that they thought they had maybe left on the wayside, maybe that didn't get on the plane? But then, bam, all of a sudden those bags show up. So it's very, 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 very important for us to talk about those bags. Which bags do we need to unpack, right? And then it finally gets us back to the first question that we asked, which is, are you ready? Are you ready to date? So I am thrilled that you all are here with me tonight. I am thrilled to have shared this conversation with you. I didn't want to take a lot of your time. I really just wanted to get you thinking because, again, January comes and everybody's ready to date. Ooh, I'm ready to date. I'm coming to the workshop. I'm doing this. I'm going online. But you've not done the work, okay? It's like going in and saying, oh, I'm stitching up my wound, but it didn't heal. And you never use the peroxide to boil out all the nasty infection. You can't do that. You can't do that with your dating life. You can't do that with your life in general. You've got to do the work first on this side. That's actually going to get us to the other side of what it is that we truly, truly want, which is a good relationship, love, companionship, someone you can trust, someone that you can depend on. But ladies, we have to start on our end doing the hard work. So if you have any questions or any comments, especially as we start talking about just those three topics, are you ready to date? Okay, why? Write it down. Why are you ready to date? What lies are you telling yourself about why you're single? Okay? And then what bags do you need to unpack? So if any of you have any questions or maybe even want to share any of those things that just in hearing this tonight, if anybody's had an aha moment, if anybody has said, yeah, I'm guilty, let me know if you're out there. I know I definitely see Mel is saying good option, good point, great advice. Star Power is saying ditto when we talk about trust and just not, and that Miss Independence. I think that's what Star Power talked about. So if you have any comments on that, let me know. And then I am going to switch gears a little bit to something that I posted the other day from a client. And the short of it is the client sent a note to a guy that she'd been conversing with online. And I'll give you the backstory, but I'm going to give you this part of the story first. So she'd been conversing with this guy online. And she sent him a note asking, hey, how does Saturday look for us to do our meet and greet, right? And so he writes back, like, what do you have in mind? Things are kind of, slow over here, and my money's a little funny. Okay, so I posted that online, and so many of you commented, right? And so instead of just giving, and I didn't give my comment, I didn't give my opinion, I just posted it. I wanted to see what you all were thinking about it, right? So remember, she sent him a note saying, hey, how are you feeling about the meet and greet? And he says, oh, everything's cool, I'm doing well, I'm not sure, my money's a little funny. Okay, so a lot of you there were a lot of comments on this, right? And the comments went from people saying, no, too much too soon, he shared too quickly. And then some of you were like, well, it doesn't make him a bad guy because he didn't have funds. And then there were others who were like, well, at least he was being honest. And so I really, actually, I'm going to see if I can get my husband. And like I said, we were running in from my mom's birthday dinner, but we had a conversation about it yesterday. And for me, it's pretty simple. They were just in the conversation status. Like they had just been, conversing online. It made me very uncomfortable for him to say, my money is funny. Okay. Why? Because when we date men, we look to men for security. We look to men for guidance, for leadership. And so in just seeing a man saying that his money was funny, first of all, he didn't know you well enough. This was not a 3-year established relationship where a man could come in and say, hey, babe, nah, we're not doing that this week because, I need to pay this bill. I've got this. That's real talk. That's reasonable. That's real life, right? But when a man you've never talked to tells you that his money is funny, it sends off all kinds of red flags and ding, 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 ding in my head, right? Because now I'm thinking, okay, well, how funny is his money? Okay. Is he going to ask me for money? Right? Is he then going to, like, how bad off is your money? Are you going to need something from, like, it just made me terribly uncomfortable. And especially on the front end of just getting to know someone. And then part of me was like, was he sharing this because he then wanted to see if she would say, oh, well, I'll take care of it. Like, was he trying to set up something there? Like I told you, ladies, I worked in court shows and on TV shows. And what I saw was the trend of women taking care of men. From buying rims to paying child support to just flat out loaning money. And so I know in the last decade plus, a lot of things change in the dating world. And so for me, it just did not sit well in that arena. So not only am I expecting a man to be stable, we all have hard times. I get that. But at the same time, it just did not sit well with me that this man shared so early in it, they'd never met, y'all, that his money was funny. Because all I keep thinking about is the line from Martin, my money is funny and my credit won't get it. Y'all know that one, right? And so it did not sit well with me. We really, when we talk about going into relationships and trust issues and discernment and stuff like that, it's okay, ladies, if you're not comfortable with a man who out the gate tells you his money is funny. You don't have to be. Now, there were some people who said, well, maybe he told her that because he wanted to pay for the date, but he couldn't. Bruh, you ain't got to be that honest with me. It just didn't, it didn't sit well with me. It did not sit well with me that a man, and I did ask her to give me some more information and details about it. And this was a man who is 57, 58. Now, I didn't know that going into it, but that definitely, knowing that was absolutely a deal breaker. Because you think by a certain time, we're more established, right? And that's not what he was showing. Now, granted, his money might have been funny for, dating. Doesn't mean his real life is in shambles, but it just left way too much for her to try to figure out. So if some of you got to read it, if you want to comment on it, feel free to. If you didn't, you can go back to the She Dates Savvy page and see it. And you'll get to see just the comments from different people. But I really, it just didn't sit well with me. And my husband and I talked about it yesterday. And so he was kind of like, he's like, God, these people are, he's like, there needs to be more grace on all sides, right? And I'm like, but you're not talking about your money. He's like, no, absolutely. I would never tell a woman that. He says, but it seems like a lot of women brought their bags, because we do, right? Because how many of us have been put in situations where you feel like, oh, I feel like I'm carrying more of the weight in this relationship than he is, right? So then when you hear the ding, 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 my money is funny, what happens? It sets off all of these things, right? All of those triggers, because we remember what we've gone through in the past. So, excuse me. So absolutely, like I said, we are the sum total of our experiences. And so if you've been in a relationship or a situationship or whatever it is, and a guy didn't always, carry his weight, talking to a new guy who just a few weeks in, by only talking via phone and text, he tells you his money is funny. Yeah, that's a problem. That is absolutely a problem. So for those of you who didn't read it, but now are just hearing about the situation, give me your thoughts. Yoruba said, I never paid on a date, but I also don't date alike. Yoruba, I can't see your picture. I'm trying to see, Yoruba, your picture is small. Yoruba, no offense. Are you a man or a woman? Because I cannot see your picture. I apologize. And I can't make the screen bigger. And here's the thing. So speaking of paying on dates. So my husband took me out on our first date. First of all, he asked me on the first and the second date before we ever had the first date. So bam. So we go on the first date. Of course, he pays on the date. And then it's time for a second date. We go hang out, we play pool, and then we end up at a movie theater, right? And so we get to the movie theater, and I said, oh, you know what? I'll take care of the tickets. Y'all, he looked at me with daggers in his eyes. He was so offended. And I'm like, what happened? What did I do wrong? He's like, I got it. Like, I don't need you to pay for it. Now, here's what's significant about that. I have been in a relationship that lasted years, right? So we've gotten to the point where you pay one week, I pay the next week, or you get it? And so I was still in that mindset of, oh wait, he had already paid for the dinner, and then he paid that day earlier in the daytime, right? And so for me, it was only fair and reasonable that I said, oh, I'll pick up the tab, because I didn't want, this is a new guy. I didn't want him thinking that, oh, she's just here for the ride, right? Excuse me. But for him, it was absolutely offensive, because he says, look, I'm asking you out. We're on a date. I got it. And even if I didn't ask you out and you told me you wanted to go to dinner, I still have it. So again, it's really just going to depend on who it is you're dating. But I brought into it my past relationships, just because, again, like I said, I'd been in that relationship for so long that I was used to, you pay today, I pay then. So it was different. But again, going into a new thing, he was like, no. Star Power says, been there, done that. To which part? About taking care of somebody or giving too much in a relationship. So then when someone does send you that kind of a note, you're like, oh, hell no, I'm running away, because I already know where this is going to go. Right? And for the men out there who see this or listen, it just doesn't put a woman in a really good position when you say your money is funny. Not that the woman is being a gold digger. First of all, you could have said, hey, let's meet at the coffee shop, right? So here's how we go. You don't drink the coffee, guy, because again, you know your money's funny, but I'm sure you have $5 to buy her a cup of coffee, right? So you would have never, ever had to bring up your money situation. You could have played it cool, gone out with her, spent some time, done the meet and greet, because that's all she was asking for. And you never had to, excuse me, let me get some water. You never had to actually share that your money was funny, because it just, it creates a very uncomfortable situation. There are lots of dates that you guys could have gone on that aren't expensive and that don't cost money, because then it leads me to the situation of, are you ready to date? Are you really ready to date? Because dating is expensive, especially, remember, you're not in a relationship with her. So there's not going to be the going back and forth of, oh, she's picking up, like you're courting and dating. And so Star Power says, asking the man if I could contribute on a date. Yes. So for those of you who just joined, I share the story of date 2 with my husband, Reginald. And date 2 actually consisted of us doing a couple of things. So I remember we played pool, and then I remember we ended up at the movie theater. So by the time we got to the movie theater, I said, hey, I can take care of it. I'll pay. And he was like, what do you, like, daggers in his eyes, right? Because that's not how he rolled. He was fine with it's not a 50-50 thing. You don't have to try to add up and equal. And I'll be honest, in the beginning, for a long time, there were, like, I would write down what he did, because I was so used to, remember, carrying that Miss Independent bag, right? And so the last thing someone would ever be able to do was throw into my face what they did for me. So I kept a little tally just in case he was that kind of man, which thank God he was not. But because I had that independent baggage that I was still carrying and had to let go of because I was dating a different kind of man, I absolutely found myself, if I went through my phone, I could probably find the note. I would keep a little tally, because just in case. But thank God he was not that kind of man. But again, what is that? That was some of my stuff that I was carrying in, right? Because I've had people throw things in my face. So that's why it's important for us to do what? Taking us back to the topic here, doing the hard work, so that you won't find yourself in a situation where you're with a whole different type of guy, but you're still doing the things that you used to do with the other ones. So any questions or comments or anything like that before we go off? Hi, Jackie. Hi, Roslyn. I see a lot of you have chimed in. Hi, Tracy. Yoruba, you said you commented on Instagram. I'll go back and look at that. But I see a lot of you have jumped in. If you didn't see it from the beginning, once it's done, I'll definitely post it so you can see it. But we talked about just getting our hearts ready. You know, I said January kicks off the time, hey, when everybody wants to date. Everybody wants to date. They want to get out there because it's new, it's fresh, it's new year, new me, right? And by February, you're tired because you didn't do the work that you needed to do to really get out there. It's almost like running a marathon and you don't have the stamina. Guess who can't run a marathon right now? Me. Why? Because I've not trained for it. I've not done the work to get out there and run any further than the corner. Okay? Now, with training, meaning during the work, hey, Jackie, yes, I can get out there and run a marathon. So this work that I'm talking about and that we're talking about for the next 2 Sundays is really important and critical, because I really want you, hi, Lon, I want you to be ready when you do get out there, whether it's January or February or whenever it is. I want you to send me a note and say, Tara, I did the hard work. You know, I did the work that I needed to do on my heart to actually be ready to date and to get out there and actually be what I wanted to attract in a mate. So that's why I'm doing this. Like I said, I will be back again next Sunday at 6 p.m. And we're talking about doing the relationship autopsy. That is one of my favorites because, hi, Barbara, because with the relationship autopsy, we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to show you why it wasn't always just them. Yeah, ladies. We have to own our own stuff. So I own my stuff, and I am going to be sharing more of my stuff. And hopefully, just again, this is just to get the juices flowing and get you thinking about what it is that you need to do, because it's critical as you move forward. So Denise asked, can you give a bit of insight on how your service works? What do you assist clients with? Thank you for asking. So I do a few things. One of my favorite things that I do is I do work one-on-one with clients. I started the conversation saying that I had a call on Friday with a young lady who wanted to know about my services, right? And the first thing out the gate she said was, you know, I think I'm ready to date again. Yes, relationship autopsy. That's my word. I created that word. And I'll tell you why next Sunday. But she wanted to date. And she's like, you know, I'm ready to get back out there. I think I need a dating coach, you know, because I'm dealing with so many relationship traumas. And trauma? Relationship? Coach? No, those words don't go together, right? And so the first thing I do is I assess whether or not you really are ready to date. And I'll tell y'all, this young lady, when she unloaded her whole story, I gave her the name and number of a girlfriend of mine who's an actual therapist. Why? Because sometimes, y'all, it ain't just about writing it on our list and trying to unpack it on our own. Sometimes we need help. right? And so in hearing her story, it's like, oh, you need some help. So what I do is I work one-on-one with clients. I usually work in the online dating arena because a lot of my ladies are professional, career-driven, busy. They might be single moms. They might be caring for aging parents. They don't have time to go to every event or function. And that's kind of how my life was. Worked a very busy job as a TV producer. I didn't have all day to go out and date. When I had time to go out, I needed to sleep, right? So I'm like hanging with the kid or sleeping. And so online dating was like grocery shopping. You put it in the cart, you go through in the aisles, you're looking at the pictures, you're like, I like him. Okay, cool, send a note, bam, right? And so what I do is I help ladies navigate that world because I do understand that it's not super easy. So that's the first thing that I do. We work one-on-one if you are ready to date. If I say that, yes, Tera can work with you because you're ready, not just because you say, because remember the lady on Friday said she was ready to date. Tera said no. Okay? So I do one-on-ones, but I also do workshops. And the workshops are for people who say, I think I can do this on my own, but I want you to show me your She Date Savvy method. I want you to show me how you do it, right? And so we spend about 2 hours together. We go over how to write a profile. We go over what pictures you should pick. We go over what dating sites to be on, because raise your hand if you found yourself out there in those online dating streets and it got a little rough. 9 times out of 10, it's because of the site you were on, right? So we talk about that. And then the other thing that I do, I wrote a book called Smart Girls Don't Date Dumb. And that book I'm very proud of because I can honestly say that I dated dumb in the past. Raise your hand if you've dated dumb. Thank God for freedom. Thank God for deliverance. But I share my story. And because what I've learned is when you do the work, there is something good on the other side of it. So I really, I'm like the good girlfriend you've always wished for. Because I don't have any motives other than helping you get it right. Like, I just want to see you get it right. So I'm not trying to see you with a guy who's bad because I don't want you doing better than me. No, I want you to have a good guy because I have a good guy. Like, I believe we all deserve that. So again, the one-on-one coaching, the workshops, I do speaking engagements. So just a little bit of everything, but really helping women stay on track when it comes to relationships, and also giving you a different view and perspective, because sometimes we're so in here, right, that we can't really see it from all sides. So I like giving you that fair balance, like, hey, maybe he didn't mean that when he said that. So that is what I do. If you've not already subscribed to, you can definitely follow me you can go to my website, www.shedatesavvy.com. That's SHESAVVY. I forgot the dates part, so I'll do it again. SHEDATESSAVVY.com, shedatesavvy.com. You can book a complimentary consultation so you can find out a little bit more about what it is I do. I love that my business is virtual. So I literally have women from across the country and people from around the globe who go and visit the website and who actually follow on Instagram and on Facebook. So I love that it is a digital platform, but I really am, I'm a resource. I'm a tool. I want to help you get it right because I see so many women who truly want to find love and they don't know what to do, or they're still carrying around all the bags that will keep them just kind of in this cycle, right? So I kind of want to help you in that cycle of bad dating and bad relationships, but all through doing the work, okay? So that's who I am. That's what I do. I thank you all so much for your time. Again, if you didn't get to watch it, go back from the beginning, check it out. You can email me, you can DM me, whatever it is. I will be offering a it's called the Smart Girls Guide to Digital Dating, the workshop. I will be offering that in January, but we still have 2 more Sundays. Again, next week is doing the relationship autopsy. And then the last week is going to be making your vision plain, because we're going to talk about this series was done in order. So the first thing we do is we got to heal, right? So we talked about the things that we need to heal from. So that's what I want you ladies to work on this week, and then join me next week, because then we're going to talk about those things, and then we're going to look back at those relationships, y'all. Yeah, we're going to look back at those relationships and do that autopsy and see, what could I have done differently? Because like I said, it was not all them. We have to own our stuff, right? So we'll do that. And then that third week is one of my favorite weeks, is going to be making your vision plain. So if any of you have ever thought about doing a vision board as it relates to your life and your love, I'm going to give you some pointers, some steps, some tools, some tips. And my boyfriend said, that's what I call my husband, he is actually going to join me in that conversation, because one of the chapters in the book that women love so much is a chapter that he wrote called Kids and Kings. And so we do this in conjunction, because what happens is once we've written down what our vision is, like what are you looking for, now you need to make sure you stay on track with it, right? You need to make sure that any old body doesn't just run up in there and you're like, oh, no. I want you to be able to check your list and say, he was not on my list. Let me keep moving, right? And so he's going to talk about the difference between a kid and a king, and it's good stuff. You know, in the book I wrote, you know, I want to give you information from a man who doesn't want anything from you, because I think that's what happens a lot of times, ladies. We've heard the things that we want to hear because a man is telling us what we want to hear because he wants something from us. And so that's not the case with my husband. My husband doesn't want anything from you. He just wants you to date better, just like I do. So we're going to do that on the third Sunday. So do me a favor. If you didn't see it all, go back and watch it. Share it with a friend. Tell a friend. Go to She Dates Savvy. Subscribe so that you will get the reminder on next Sunday. Hey, Erin. On next Sunday to tune in with me. Again, for those of you who are just jumping in, please, please, please go back to the beginning. Get your pen and paper out and start doing some work. Start doing the hard work, because it's vital to get us ready to date. Alrighty? Thank you, ladies, so very much for your time. I absolutely love and appreciate you. This was a really, really nice evening. And if you have any questions between now and next week, or if you have any about the relationship autopsy, send it to me and we'll talk about it next week. Thank you all so much. Bye.